and welcome to the City Council meeting. The agenda for a regular meeting of the City Council of the City of Poplar Bluff, Missouri, to be held on Monday, December 7th, 2020 at 7 p.m. in the City Council chambers at 301 South 5th Street will now come to order. Please rise for the invocation by Pastor Kirk of United Gospel Rescue Mission, and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Thank you, Council, for having me. Father, I thank you for this evening that we can be here to discuss the important business of our city. Lord, I ask as you be with us during these trying times that you'll protect us from sickness, that you'll watch over our city, and you'll help our members as they make decisions, Father, that your will be done, and that the benefits will be passed on to our citizens, Father. Thank you that we live in a town that still opens in prayer. I thank you for that, Father. I thank you for the courage that takes. Lord, I ask that you continue to bless us and bless our city. I ask these things in Jesus' mighty name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Please join me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, Clerk Young.
Councilwoman Parson.
Here.
Councilman DeGaris.
Here.
Councilwoman Horton.
Here.
Councilman Cornman.
Here.
Councilwoman Taylor.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Davis.
Here.
Mayor Smith.
Here.
We do have a quorum.
Okay, thank you. And before we proceed, I would like to ask everyone, let's take just a moment of silence for our military members that we lost at Pearl Harbor. With that being said, we will proceed here. Disclosure of interest. Any member of the City Council may disclose any possible conflict of interest dealing with either any item on the printed agenda or with any matter discussed at a previous meeting.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes, ma'am.
I will have to abstain myself from workshop item A due to my husband being a fireman working for the city.
Okay, so noted. We will move on now to citizens' input. Each person in the audience may take this opportunity to address the City Council on any matter which is not on the printed agenda. And first I have Mrs. Diana Collard. I apologize if I mispronounce your name.
That's fine. What I wish to speak about is at the corner of 9th and Maud Streets, where the four-way stop sign is, the old Hog Market building there has been sold to the people who own Happy Mart down on Ditch Road. I live next door to this building. My cousin lives diagonally across the street, and I'm also speaking for her. We are quite concerned about this business moving into our neighborhood for several reasons. It has already been established that they cannot sell alcohol, but a look at the Facebook page of this business, and my cousin visited the business, and we're quite concerned about this type of business moving into our neighborhood. This is a school bus stop. There is inadequate parking for this kind of business. And if if they hold hours other than in the day, it will be a disruption to the quiet of the neighborhood. And we are actually very concerned about it. That's pretty well all I've got to say. Thank you.
You know anything about that?
I do.
Thank you for your concern. I have Dr. Donald Pyland.
Thank you for your time, Mr. Mayor. My name is Dr. Donald Pyland. I've been a practicing internal medicine physician in Poplar Bluff for 37 years. I'm on the board of directors at Poplar Bluff Regional Medical Center, and I'm a fellow in the American College of Physicians, all of which to say is I've been around for a way long time and have seen a lot of viral disease come and go. It's no secret that the United States and our area in particular is under siege by this terrible virus, COVID-19. We have recently been recognized in Southeast Missouri as having one of the most rapid rates of per capita increase in hospitalizations, and that includes the entire country. Our COVID unit at Poplar Bluff Regional has been full for the last 3 months, and we've been transferring patients out of our emergency room simply because we don't always have room in our COVID unit. And those patients may go to St. Louis or to Cape Girardeau, but oftentimes they end up in small towns such as Harrisonville, Arkansas, or maybe up in Belleville, Illinois, or even as far west as Tulsa, Oklahoma. We lost nursing and respiratory therapy staff to desperate communities like Houston, Texas, where they can afford to pay as much as $175 per hour, while those employees will encounter the same personal COVID risk in those high-paying communities. That makes it very difficult for us to compete with that price, and it makes it difficult for us to staff our area. We've seen an increase in COVID-related admissions, COVID-related deaths, COVID-related outpatient visits, and unfortunately, COVID-related sadness. As a population, we've been dazed and confused by the mixed messaging out of Washington. All the while, our elderly and infirm have been devastated by a brand new virus that has largely been passed on unknowingly by younger citizens who have been barely affected. We've seen a husband and wife die within a week of each other due to COVID. We've seen a 26-year-old, otherwise healthy man struggle for life on a ventilator due to COVID. We've lost a retired local pharmacist who was a local pharmacist, also a co-caregiver for a special needs individual. And we've witnessed the sad death of a 72-year-old LPN who went back to work in nursing at the nursing home 3 years ago in order to give back to her community. Now, while masks are not perfect, they've been shown scientifically that they help minimize the spread of not only COVID-19, but also the influenza virus. They work to help to tame the Spanish flu in 1918. They helped our school district recently to control their COVID problems, and they helped New York City tame COVID when a stay-at-home mandatory stay-at-home order wasn't actually working to help them. They also help countries such as Japan, Thailand, South Korea, Iceland, Australia, all to minimize their economic and personal COVID damage. Masks have recently been shown to increase the likelihood that the wearer will have a less serious case of COVID by decreasing the number of inhaled viral particles. I have a list here of 32 references showing that masks help minimize the spread of SARS-CoV-2, available to each of you if you'd like to review them. Now, I've heard rumors that some of our community leaders are basing their opinions about mask wearing on the belief that masks don't help, that the disease is no worse than the flu, that COVID-19 is a hoax, and that masks will make you sick. I've even heard that vaccine would be the government's way to inject a microchip into your body so you can be followed. These ideas are not obviously supported by the medical or scientific community and are all examples of politically charged internet misinformation and only serve to stand in the way of our community's health and safety. I don't need to remind you that the government leaders have a responsibility to protect the welfare and health of the citizens that we serve. I also shouldn't have to remind you of the old adage that those who fail to learn from history are doomed to repeat it. We lost 670,000 American citizens due to the Spanish flu over 3 years' time, and we're almost halfway there in a little over a fourth of the time with COVID-19. Thoreau once said, "The government that is best that governs the least." This is not one of those times. We desperately need our city council to be proactive and enact a mandatory mask ordinance, much like the other 19 Missouri communities have already done, if only for 3 months, to help us get through the flu season and into the time we can all get vaccinated and thereafter return to
Sir,
our
I
normal
don't mean
lives.
to
I'm almost done. So.
interrupt you.
Yes, sir.
I'll give you about 30 seconds more.
I don't
sir.
even need that. This action may actually help save the economy of our local area and save many lives of local American citizens and Poplar Bluff citizens. Thank you for your time, and I do have a handout for you guys if you're at all interested.
Okay, thank you. This will not be taken lightly, and we will take this under advisement, and we do appreciate you taking time out of your schedule to be here. Thanks again. Workshop items for discussion. The City Council will review the proposed budget for the City of Poplar Bluff and municipal utilities fiscal year 2021. Mr. Winters.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Presented to you tonight is the proposed fiscal year 21 budget for the City of Poplar Bluff and municipal utilities. As you can see from your budget that I've included, the projected revenues for fiscal year 2021 for the general fund are $12,329,115, and projected expenses are $12,289,265. Unfortunately, again in 21, the fiscal year, the general fund budget does not include a salary increase for our employees. Again, unfortunately, it also includes an increase in the health insurance deductible from $3,000 to $5,000 on our base health insurance plan, and from $1,500 to $3,000 on our buy-up plan. That change in particular results in an estimated savings to the city of approximately $290,000. Additionally, there is a reduction of 4 positions, either entirely or as a reduction from full-time to part-time, and there are 2 currently unfilled police officer positions that will remain unfilled. They do have 1 right now that is open that they will be filling within the coming weeks. In addition to all these, there's also a 10% increase in the city's cost of property and casualty insurance. As far as the capital budget goes, you'll notice the first payment towards the police station building of $250,000 is included, as well as the estimated revenue and expenses regarding the construction and certificates of participation. The 2021 capital budget also includes the sale of the excess property on Shelby Road at approximately $1.3 million. I have included $30,000 to pay for the asbestos abatement in the former City Hall building in Oak Street. As you all know, we're working on a runway expansion project at the airport. The budget includes a $500,000 match commitment to that project out of the capital funds. And as an item we'll take up later tonight, there's also $100,000 included towards the purchase of a new 911 system that will be purchased along with the grant proceeds in the coming year. Do you have any questions about the budget presented? I do also want to mention that, remind you that municipal utilities budget is included. General Manager Bill Bach is present tonight. He has included a letter with his budget. If you have any questions for Mr. Bach, he's more than willing to come up and answer any questions you might have of him tonight as well. Chris Waite from the Parks Department is here. She can also address any questions you might have of the Parks Department budget. I do want to take this opportunity to thank all the department heads, the majority of which are in attendance tonight. You know, in addition to the hours that I spent working on this budget, they also spent numerous hours working on their own department budgets, both for general fund and for capital. Ms. Terry Leslie at Municipal Utilities was also extremely helpful in this process as well.
My concern was about the telephone for the police department. That's where I. Let's see, what page is that?
Mr. Mayor, Jim Crispin, 464 North Main.
I think you had a question first.
Okay.
Just 1 second,
Yes.
Jim. I can get you some more details about that. Or if Mike McLean, is that something you can speak to, the telephone expense? I don't have the details of, or, I'm sorry, Darren Moore. So we'll get one of them if you got a specific question. They can.
Yeah, okay.
Mr. Chrisman.
Okay.
If you
Mr.
can give
Crispin,
us a
let him-
second to
yeah.
let these gentlemen address the mayor's question.
Mr. Mayor, Deputy Chief Mike McLean, I'm sorry, didn't quite hear your question back there.
I had a question about the amount of telephone for the police department at $44,000 proposed.
Yes, sir. If I may, the overwhelming majority of that cost are data plans for the mobile computer terminals in our patrol cars. They are $39.99 a month per unit. That's what provides the internet service to each mobile laptop for the software that we run in the field. I have a breakdown of that. I don't have it with me, Darren, do you have?
No.
But we could get you that. We have all of that back at the office.
Okay, I just need to know because it does seem a little excessive.
It is a lot of money. It affords us the opportunity to, for the officers to have that mobile software in the field, to be able to write reports, run license plates, persons, and so on, full access to our database, mobile, as opposed to, let's say, taking a shoplifting call at 8 points at a business there, obtaining the paperwork, driving all the way back to the police department, sitting down, start on his or her report. They could simply pull over in the parking lot, knock it out right there. That's just one example of many.
Okay. That suffices. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Any other council members have any questions? Well, if not, we'll let Mr. Chrisman ask his.
Jim Crispin, 464 North Main, and I've got pretty simple things tonight, but obviously, we have not looked at the budget. We just got it tonight, and I noticed that there's a increase in the sales tax revenue, and just wondering if the absence of the water park, how much will that affect that?
Well, I mean, the water park wasn't open this past summer either, so I
Okay,
don't
so
expect.
it's figured in.
Yes.
Okay, very good, thank you. And the other thing I'd like for you to workshop the budget the second night. Is that realistic, so that citizens that are interested in the budget will have a chance to offer their input to it? Just a second, do it. You could then vote on it next meeting, but I'd like to see it workshopped one more time. Thank you.
That's up to y'all.
So he's asking us to workshop it and vote on it the next meeting.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, that's what I thought I understood.
Any other quick questions from the council?
I don't necessarily have a problem with workshopping that and voting that on the 21st myself.
Is that in the form of a motion?
Yes.
I'll second.
Okay. Clerk Young, could you read his motion?
Yes.
He might need to
Mayor
read
Pro
it.
Tem Davis motion that we send this to workshop again and vote on it at our next meeting, which will be December the 21st.
Okay.
Is that correct?
You
Yeah, we
don't see a
did.
conflict in that,
Let's
do
see.
you?
I'm sorry.
Manager, you don't see a conflict in that necessarily?
No, that's fine.
Okay. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. We will workshop this on the 21st and vote on it that same night. Item B, the city council will discuss the city of Poplar Bluff authorizing and directing the submission of a ballot proposition to the qualified voters of the city of Poplar Bluff, Missouri, to consider imposing a local use tax at the same rate as the local sales tax of the city of Poplar Bluff for the purchases of out-of-state vendors that exceed $2,000 at the general municipal election to be held in the city of Poplar Bluff on April 6, 2021. Mr. Winters.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We've tried this 3 or 4 times. Working through this budget to kind of really brought home how important this is. Our sales tax, we do project a slight increase for next year, but at the same time, as you can see from our property and casualty insurance increasing by 10%, our health insurance costs, just continue to climb. It's something that's needed desperately to be able to continue efficiently operating our government to be able to attract and recruit the employees, the quality of employees that we need. I talked to a few of you. I would like to see, one of the things that I plan on doing is working with the department heads and within the coming weeks bringing you a list of some potential projects to approve, so that to kind of give the citizens an idea of what we would do with this money if we got it. I think it's important that I mean, I don't like taxes any more than anybody else does, and I think we're all kind of wary of just handing over tax money. But I think if maybe we had some specific purposes and plans behind what we're asking the citizens for, hopefully that will be a more successful tactic this time around. So anyway.
Make a motion, move this to the voting session on the 21st.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Item C, the city council will consider accepting proposed Elledge Lane as a city street. Is Mr. Lawson here?
I'll address it if you have any questions. Mr. Lawson can come speak. So back, I guess it was last year, we vacated some streets on the east side, and in exchange for that, we built a new street that was more of a direct entrance into Clinton Park. That is what we're asking you to accept as Elledge Lane tonight. This is the new connector from C Street into Clinton Park. This is the new street the Apostolic Worship Center donated land for, so there's a much better entrance into Clinton Park. As I mentioned, the street does not meet the city standards required for acceptance due to the lack of curb and guttering. However, because of the lack of relief and stormwater collection system on the east side, it was recommended by the engineers that this requirement be waived. So I'm asking you to accept this street as it's constructed today.
Mr. Manager,
Yes, ma'am.
is this named in honor of the pastor that was there for so long?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. That church has really worked in that area.
Yes, ma'am, they have.
Well, I'll make a motion we accept it.
Second.
Second.
Any further discussion? Okay, now. Okay. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Now we need to move it to the voting section.
Next, the 21st.
Yeah,
Yeah, the 20th.
so I need a motion for
Is
that.
that not the motion?
Oh, well, add that to mine. That's what I meant to
Okay.
say.
Okay. Oh, okay, now let's try this again.
Okay.
Try it again, Barbara.
I make a motion that we move the proposed acceptance of Elledge Lane to the December 21st voting session.
Okay, now, there we go.
There.
Any
That's what I
further,
meant to say.
any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Item D, the city council will consider proposals for administrative services for the CDBG MIT Street Paving Project Grant. Mr. Winters.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yes, we've been working, we'd selected Mathis Engineering a few months ago to be the engineer for a street paving grant application to the Community Development Block Grant Program. As part of that process, we have to contract with a project administrator if the project were to be funded, and also for them to write the grant. We advertised, and the only firm to respond was the Ozark Foothills Regional Planning Commission. Their bid was in the amount of $28,846, which would all be paid for through grant funding, and I'm recommending that the council approve this bid.
So moved.
And so this would be on the, this is on the 21st?
Yes.
It's actually tonight.
I'm
Or
sorry.
is that tonight? I
Tonight.
move that they
Tonight.
move to the
I
voting
apologize. Yes,
session
it is.
tonight.
Second.
Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Item E, the city council will consider bids for the NG 911 system relative to an upgraded 911 system grant. Mr. Winters.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As you all may recall, we have applied for and been awarded a grant from the Missouri Department of Public Safety to purchase and upgrade our 911 system. We solicited for bids. There were 3 bids received. The recommended bid is from Solacom Technologies of Addison, Texas, in the amount of $222,038.70. And we're 220 of that is paid for by the, I'm sorry, 120 of that is paid for by the grant, and then about 100 that's our responsibility that I discussed earlier would be paid out of the capital budget in 2021. There was another company that was a little bit less than them. However, they were a subscription-based system, and the grant does not cover subscription-based systems. It would, so this is Solacom is the one we're recommending.
I make a motion for that to the next voting session.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Item F, the city council will consider an amendment to section 120.610 funeral leave. Mr. Winters.
One of these days, we'll find somebody else to talk, so I don't have to talk all the time. But this is kind of a, you're been asked to update this. I think it needed to be updated. Our current city ordinances do not provide funeral leave, doesn't specify any step relations. So what I'm asking is that we amend the funeral leave section of our city code of ordinances to include bereavement leave of 3 days with pay for the death of a stepmother, stepfather, and stepchildren. Just to clarify and our ordinance, because it is not specified right now.
I motion that we move that to 12:21 voting session.
Second.
Is there a question? No? Okay.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Item G, the city council will consider an appointment to the plumbing board to fill an unexpired term. Mr. Winters.
Yes, we have we had an opening on the HVACR board and the plumbing board. So the HVACR board spot was filled. However, the plumbing board opening was not. So this is just a recommendation for appointment to that plumbing board.
I motion this be moved to tonight's voting session.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Item H, the city council will review lease agreements for use of property. Mr. Winters.
Okay, this is for 3 lease agreements for the police department. 2 of the properties that are part of this lease agreement are used for parking at the station. And the third one is for the building itself that they're currently occupying. These leases are each for 1 year.
motion move into tonight's voting session.
Second.
Any further discussion?
Not tonight.
I think that's for the 21st.
Yeah, the 21st.
I'm sorry. Make a motion move to 21st voting session.
Okay.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Item I. The city council will discuss a proposal accepting and approving the assignment and assumption of certain series 2020 revenue bonds in an aggregate principal amount not to exceed $42,900,000 to finance a project for the benefit of Briggs and Stratton Corporation, from Briggs and Stratton Corporation to Briggs and Stratton Corporation, LLC, and authorizing all actions relating thereto. Mr. Winters.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So this is in relation to bonds that were issued earlier this year for Briggs and Stratton, and now that Briggs and Stratton has been purchased, the new company that's taking them over has requested that we reassign the bonds to the new corporation. It's the original corporation was Briggs and Stratton Corporation, and the new name is Briggs and Stratton LLC. Back on October the 5th, I presented the draft documents to you regarding the reassignment of these Chapter 100 bonds. They have since completed those documents, and what's presented to you tonight are the final documents. Because of the processes and the timeline of getting this done, I am asking that you vote on this evening as well.
Motion is to be moved to tonight's voting session.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Action required items. AA, Bill number 8276. The city council will take action on an ordinance selecting administrative services relative to the CDBG MIT grant application for street paving.
Motion for first reading of Bill 8276.
Second.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Counselor?
An ordinance authorizing the mayor of the city of Poplar Bluff to execute a contract for professional services for the city of Poplar Bluff and Ozark Regional Planning Commission for the administration of a community development block grant application for street paving in the city of Poplar Bluff.
Motion for second reading.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Counselor?
An ordinance authorizing the mayor of the city of Poplar Bluff, Missouri to execute a contract for professional services between the city of Poplar Bluff and Ozark Foothills Regional Planning Commission for the administration of a community development block grant application for street paving in the city of Poplar Bluff.
Motion for adoption of Bill 8276.
Second.
Any further discussion? Roll call, Clerk Young.
Councilwoman Parson,
Yes.
Councilman DeGaris.
Yes.
Councilwoman Horton,
Yes.
Councilman Cornman,
Yes.
Councilwoman Taylor,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Davis,
Yes.
Mayor Smith.
Yes. Bill number 8276 is adopted. Item BB, Bill number 8277. The city council will take action on an ordinance accepting a bid for the NG 911 system relative to an upgraded 911 system grant.
Motion for first reading, bill number 8277.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Counselor.
An ordinance accepting a bid from Solacom relative to an upgraded 911 system for the city of Poplar Bluff.
Motion for second reading of bill number 8277.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Counselor.
An ordinance accepting a bid from Solacom relative to an upgraded 911 system for the city of Poplar Bluff.
Motion for adoption of Bill 8277.
Second.
Any further discussion? Roll call, Clerk Young.
Councilman DeGaris.
Yes.
Councilwoman Horton.
Yes.
Councilman Cornman.
Yes.
Councilwoman Taylor.
Yes.
Councilwoman Parson.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Davis.
Yes.
Mayor Smith.
Yes. Bill number 8277 is adopted. Item CC, Bill number 8278. The City Council will take action on an ordinance consenting to the assignment and transfer of the city's taxable industrial revenue bonds, Briggs and Stratton Corporation Project, Series 2020, issued in a principal amount not to exceed $42,900,000 for the benefit of providing funds to finance a project for the benefit of Briggs and Stratton Corporation in the city.
Motion for first reading of Bill 8278.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Counselor.
An ordinance of the City of Poplar Bluff, Missouri, consenting to the assignment and transfer of the city's taxable industrial revenue bonds, Briggs and Stratton Corporation Project, Series 2020, issued in a principal amount not to exceed $42,900,000 for the purpose of providing funding to finance a project for the benefit of Briggs and Stratton Corporation in the city, and authorizing the officers of the City of Poplar Bluff to carry out all necessary actions to complete the assignment and transfer of the bonds, and authorizing and approving certain documents related to the assignment and the transfer of the bonds.
Motion for second reading of bill number 8278.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Counselor.
An ordinance of the City of Poplar Bluff, Missouri, consenting to the assignment and transfer of the city's taxable industrial revenue bonds, Briggs and Stratton Corporation Project, Series 2020, issued in a principal amount not to exceed $42,900,000 for the purpose of providing funding to finance a project for the benefit of Briggs and Stratton Corporation in the city, and authorizing the officers of the city to carry out all actions necessary to complete the assignment and transfer of the bonds, and further authorizing and approving certain documents related to the assignment and the transfer of the bonds.
Motion for adoption of Bill 8278.
Second.
Any further discussion? Roll call, Clerk Young.
Councilwoman Councilwoman Horton.
Yes.
Councilman Cornman.
Yes.
Councilwoman Taylor.
Yes.
Councilwoman Parson.
Yes.
Councilman DeGaris.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Davis.
Yes.
Mayor Smith.
Yes. Bill number 8278 is adopted. Item DD, resolution number 1939. The City Council will make an appointment to the Plumbing Board to fill an unexpired term.
Motion for the reading of resolution number 1939.
Second. Do you need?
Counselor, do you have it?
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Counselor.
A resolution of the City of Poplar Bluff making an appointment to the Poplar Bluff Plumbing Board of the City of Poplar Bluff.
Motion for adoption. Bill 193, Resolution 139.
Second.
Any further discussion? Roll call, Clerk Young.
Councilman Cornman?
Yes.
Councilwoman Taylor?
Yes.
Councilwoman Parson?
Yes.
Councilman DeGaris?
Yes.
Councilwoman Horton?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Davis?
Yes.
Mayor Smith?
Yes.
Passes.
Resolution number 1939 is adopted. Item EE, the City Council of the City of Poplar Bluff will meet in a closed meeting in which they will discuss such matters which are exempted under the open meetings law in section 16.21.1, .2, .3, .9, .11, .12, .13, and .14 revised statute of Missouri, following the city manager's report. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
You know, I really don't have anything.
You said it already.
I've said it all already. That's right. I'm out of words. Yeah.
Said you didn't have anything?
I don't. No, sir.
We do need a roll call.
Okay, we need to go back and have a roll call vote to move into session. Now, Clerk Young.
Councilwoman Parson?
Yes.
Councilman DeGaris?
Yes.
Councilwoman Horton?
Yes.
Councilman Cornman?
Yes.
Councilwoman Taylor?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Davis?
Yes.
Mayor Smith?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay. If there be no further business in open session, the chair will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion, we adjourn?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Take about 3 minutes and then we'll reconvene.